In 3 months, I turned 70. I was born 3 months premature because my mother smoked heavily, and the smoke influenced her uterus and my life in utero. I later learned in grade school that kids born in the early 50s, many of them that were born premature, were put into incubators with oxygen, and they were later blind. I was lucky. I didn't have oxygen. I could see. I was privileged. But what I could see and what I could feel in my family scared me. I never felt safe. In grade school, in class, with the teachers and students around me, I did feel safe. I did feel connected until I started walking home every day. And as I took every step, my safety, my care, I could feel it draining out of my body. And when I walked up to the front door, I never knew what would happen. If I wasn't a good kid that day, which depended on whatever a good kid was for that day, my mother would tell my father. And many times, when he came home, he would take me into the back of the room, into the back bedroom, and lay me on a bed. And he would take off his belt, and he would whip me. Whip, whip, whip. You have to be a better boy. You have to do what I say. I didn't want him to know how much it hurt. I held back my tears. Whap, whap. I later realized that it hurt much deeper than I thought it did at the time. No child should be able to experience that. At 18, I started working for the family business, a tree service in Denver. I was expected to. Actually, I was required to. My job was to go with the crews and take care of people's yards. And I found that talking to these less privileged people than I was life-altering. I heard their stories and understood their lives, and I knew that my experience as a child, as being a son of this father and a mother who was unable to really care and protect me, was not everybody's story. And I began to get a sense of what life could be like outside of my family. At 22, I got married to a girl who lived in California, who I visited with my best friend. It turned out she was graduating from high school and was already coming to CU. We connected, we fell in love, we got married 18 months later. As I got older, I realized that getting married at 22 was my way to escape my family, to find my own self, to find my sense of who I was, and to be loved and be cared for and to be cherished. 2 years later, with my lifelong partner, Shelley, Milliken, Wilhelm, we had our first daughter, Kelly. And I remember holding her tightly after she was born and looking into her eyes. And I experienced something that I never experienced before. The deep, loving, grounding privilege of caring for somebody, a daughter, a child of mine, that I could love and care for and raise. At that moment, I made a commitment to myself that I would be a different father than the father that I had. I would be a better father than the father that I had. I had to. I had to. At 27, I was still working in the family business, making a good living, feeling pretty privileged. And my dad came to me and said, "Bruce, next year I'm going to retire, and you're going to take over the business. What? What did he just say? I couldn't do that. I didn't know how to run a business. I had to do it, though. It was expected of me. I had no choice. Or at least I thought I didn't. So I stepped back and I thought, okay, can I make this work for me? Can I make this happen? And I thought, yes, with the skills that I've had and what I know about the business, being out in the field, and with my marketing degree and my passion for advertising, I could do it. And I pulled together a team of people that worked with me and cared about the same things that I did, that I brought close to my heart. And we together built a business that thrived. My dad, however, was never happy with the way I ran his business that I had to take over. He said that I never respected him enough. "17 years later, having 3 kids and in school and raising a beautiful family with my life partner, I decided that it was time to sell the business, that I didn't want my legacy to be the running of his business forever. So I sold it and spent time working with other people in the Denver area. One of the people had an opportunity to develop call center software. And because I did software development in the landscape business, I knew I could do it. And I did, and I landed a contract to help a man in Jamaica, Norman Anderson, build a call center. And he invited me to come down to Jamaica and talk to him and see if we could work together. And we did. And he was this big black man, and he had this big smile, and he greeted me at the airport and gave me this big hug. And I knew that there was something different about Jamaica. And I was so privileged and so honored to be in the culture where people had joy for life. And they told stories, and I had to pretend that I could understand patois. And I'd laugh, but I didn't know what I was laughing at, but it was still funny. And for 18 months, I helped Norman build his call center, and I helped other Jamaicans, and I gained friends, and I had an experience that changed me. I realized that there was more to life than what I grew up in. I realized there was more to humanity than I grew up in. Well, after Jamaica, running through my head, considering, what the heck am I going to do? And I decided, or I thought actually, I've got green industry experience. I know all of the people that worked in the green industry. And being in the tree service is not very creative. So I thought, what if I did something that had more meaning, that had more life, that had more creativity? And I decided to start a landscape company that went into people's homes and renovated their landscape. And the spring of the second year, I met and began to work with Arturo Rendon Gonzalez. Arturo Rendon Gonzalez was a college professor in northern Mexico. He moved to Colorado. He immigrated to Colorado to make a better life for himself and his family. Arturo was a natural leader of people and an amazing landscape contractor. He was a craftsman. He created things. 18 years, Arturo and I have been working together. We've been together. I've watched his 3 children be born. I've participated in life events, including the time he was naturalized. I was so proud and so honored to have this man who was my partner and my brother. Working with his crews over the last 18 years, we built over 600 outdoor sanctuaries for people, our customers, our clients, to step out into their yard and step into their nature and be nourished. As I'm about to turn 70 years young, I'm thinking, what have I learned about privilege? What have I learned about myself? What have I learned from Jamaica, from raising my children, from building a business? I've learned that our sanctuary is really our humanity. And it doesn't matter what color we are. It doesn't matter what culture we came from. It doesn't matter our life orientation. What matters is that we have the ability to connect with each other and grow. Arturo, working with him, was like synergy. We were brothers. What he brought to the company and what I brought to the company melded, and we were able to create sanctuaries. And so now, as I enter my 70s, I'm thinking that I know that my mission in life is to create the sanctuary of humanity, to go out into the world and tell that story, and to be the catalyst, the confluence for bringing people together in my life, because it is so enriching, and I am so privileged in sanctuary. Thank you.